Hey guys, so I wanted to show you guys today, some pictures I drew to kind of give more of a description on how these abductions would begin and what exactly would happen when I would go into labor. So, during these experiences, I never knew I was pregnant. Every single time I was made pregnant, which was, I'm gonna say, over 10 times, I never ever knew that I was pregnant. I definitely do know I was dealing with symptoms, like I was hungry all the time and all these other symptoms and stuff, but I never knew that I was going through pregnancies, even though they were doing this like repeatedly to me each time. I did not remember until I finally began to remember in my later 20s that all this stuff had happened to me. And it was like, oh wow. So usually when this would happen, I would be just about anywhere and I would go into sudden labor. I would not know I was pregnant at all, and a sudden labor would begin. Like very suddenly. I could be just at a park, I could be at school, I could be at home, I could be at the beach, and it just would begin. Every single time that it would begin, somebody would quickly come and transport me to the ship. It didn't matter who they were. It could be anybody. It could even be family members or anybody that would catch me when I was in labor and take me to the ship. It's really weird because it would just happen so fast. A sudden pain would come over me. Next thing I know, I would drop to the ground. My eyes would still be open. I would still be able to see what was going on. So that's when I would always see, like, for instance, this one specific day at the beach, I vividly remember it happening, and then I fell on the ground, my water broke, all that kind of stuff, and then I was looking up and saw a woman, and this woman had it's like a black remote that is in their hand, and next thing I know, I was transported to the ship. And I do know that when it happened several times, there was it's like a black remote of some sort that they can use to transport you quickly up to the ship and get you on there. And there's kind of like a beam with it. I can't really explain, but it's like there's a beam, but it's not something you could really see. It's more of a vibration, and it's a beam that sends you, that transports your body. So it's kind of like these kind of waves. Like, it just happens so fast. I mean, it's within like a matter of seconds. And for some reason, each time that they were able to do this, I guess that they can, whoever's around and in the vicinity, they can do something to make them not see that I'm going into labor and I'm being transported to the ship. So they have some kind of power to either do something to people's memories that are around that can see what's going on, or to make it to where it can't even be seen by the people that are around when I would go into these sudden labors and get transported onto the ship. So it's pretty interesting, pretty strange, but this is how it would happen. Now, when I'd be transferred to the ship, I would always wake up in a bed, a hospital bed. It would be a similar environment. It would usually be a same room. This room was like a big room, and there would be access to where a lot of people could come in like, nurses, the midwife, and all that kind of stuff. And so some of the times I didn't go into a sudden labor. Some of the times I was taken onto the ship and I was given Pitocin to induce the labor, to make the baby come out and all that kind of stuff. And one time, I don't know if I mentioned it in that story I told of one of the childbirths, where they had to take a needle and pop my water, like break my water manually, and that was something I was scared shitless. Like, it's just like, oh my god, craziness. So so sometimes they would give me this Pitocin. I remember when they would give me this, that I remember it started everything so fast, and the pain got so strong, and it would get really bad. And I think that there were sometimes that they had to do like a C-section or something that would turn into that. Each of these labors, in pregnancies, they always required me to be naked. I would have to be naked during the labor and during the, labor and everything. So when I'd be in labor, typical labor, the brown reptile would always be next to me during these labors, and he would stand next to me like he was waiting for the baby to be born and everything. But he would start to cuss at me and scream and yell at me if I was in severe pain, like, let's say, like, I'm crying because, you know, I'm in labor, it hurts so bad. He's starting to get really angry at me for being in pain and getting, like, really frustrated and starting to cuss at me, like, saying, like, the F word and all this kind of stuff about me being in pain. I guess it bothered him for whatever reason, that it was painful for me to go through childbirth, which it's not for me. It's just not for me. It's painful. It's not. Some women can go through childbirth and not be in pain, but I'm not made for childbirth. So that was the thing he just didn't understand. So my midwife was there during all the pregnancies, and she would deliver the baby. She would tell me to push. And I remember one time I was pushing, like, sometimes you can push and then, like, a number 2 movement can come out. Like, I basically never knew anything about delivering babies or anything about babies or, like, having waters broken or Pitocin or any of these things. Like, I pretty much, like, learned it all during these kind of experiences. It was like, okay, so I learned all that. And so she would tell me to push, and she would, like, make sure the baby was delivered and all that kind of stuff. So she was my midwife, like, every single time. After the baby was delivered, they would weigh the baby. They would bring the baby to, like, another area, and they would weigh the baby or do whatever kind of, like, testing on the baby or whatever else they needed to do. Sometimes they would bring the baby back and have me breastfeed the baby. Another thing is, so I don't know if they used implants to administer pain meds or if it was just that they, like, would transport me to ship, but I do believe it was implants they used. So all the way going back to many of these pregnancies, I guess that afterwards they had to give me pain medication somehow because I had C-sections done and things like that. And they had to find a way to give me pain medicine. So I do remember on the ship, I vividly remember Devera. Remember I told you the Devera Jackson Garber, the woman who took my baby when I was 16. I remember her telling me that they were going to be giving me pain medication, like, after this pregnancy, like, giving it to me somehow, like, when I was on Earth. So what happened was they're either doing this through an implant up in space to be able to administer this pain medication to me after these C-sections or whatever. And looking back, I realized that, oh my God, yeah, they were doing that. They did have to do that. And pretty much I was really tired all the time, and my mom would always call me lazy and stuff like that. And looking back, I realized why that all was going on, why I felt so exhausted all the time, and my mom would, you know, think I was lazy and call me lazy because she didn't know that I was being given pain medication because I had been, like, I would go through a C-section and then just be sent back to Earth, like, and just have to, I would be dealing with a lot of pain, a lot of kind of stuff. It just was a lot, and it's so complex. It's a complex thing. So basically they had to kind of, like, treat me on Earth and, like, kind of things. And yeah, so I just wanted to go ahead and share this and explain more of how these labors and C-sections and the pregnancy, like how the deliveries went and that kind of stuff, to kind of give more of a visual you know, picture of how this all happened and how this went on. As for, like, other pregnancy procedure, I don't know if I had I had someone ask if I had an episiotomy. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, but I think I did possibly have things like that done. I had several, like, things done, I think. And yeah, so I just want to go ahead and share this. And yeah, I'm going to put my email in the description box if you guys have any questions. And thank you so much for watching, and thank you for your comments and support. Okay, and talk to you guys later. Bye.